Yo! And we're back. Noah in the comments saying, hurry up, bro, reminds me of like when I'm watching something live and then a commercial hits. I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, I can't just fast forward this. I can't, I got to like sit through this Coors Light commercial that I'm knowing I am not going to have a Coors Light ever in my life. But how are you guys doing? You know, it's Zaddy Ball. We're back here again with Steph, Jason. What the hell is going on?
That's that long ass intro, man, that you have.
Yeah, it is.
We got two comments. One person said, "Hurry up, bro," and then someone said, "Long wait."
Well,
it's like it's the length of two commercials. It takes up like half our podcast right there.
There's something to be said about like, absence makes the heart grow fonder, things like that. So whatever cliche you want to use in terms of that, I think it's good because it helps us like kind of get ready and get it going, and and then it pops in. It's got it for me. It works. It works.
No, honestly, the reason why it's so long is we start late. People know that. So once we go live, they got the notification bell on. That's a reminder. Turn on your damn notification bell. And then we're giving them time to jump in and comment with you guys because you don't want to be the only dude or woman in the comment section talking to yourself. No. So we're giving everybody, time to jump on here with us. Yes, we got Trey Lance slander. Yes, we got Kyle Shanahan slander. Yes, we got a Warriors championship.
Let's go.
Oh, wait a minute. And if I could, Warriors in 6.
I said 7.
I said 6, and after game 1, I got a lot of pushback. How do we tell them? How do we tell you? Because I knew. So get it together, guys. Warriors in 6.
I wish your
Steph.
Football takes were the same.
Ah, man. Damn it. I don't even know what to say to that.
Nah, I'm just kidding. There's a reason why you are getting more radio spots than I am lately, so you know what it is. Let's stop the the small talk here. That we got off the elevator now. We could be normal people for the moving forward here. So PFF recently came out with a top offensive play caller list, right? And there's an interesting name there at the top. And Kyle Shanahan obviously wasn't 1, 2, or 3. I'm not necessarily banging my hand on the table saying my coach needs to be there. Like I'm not necessarily doing that. But there is a certain name that just irritated the hell out of me. And it's Kellen Moore. It's Kellen Moore of the Dallas Cowboys play caller was ranked second to Andy Reid was number 1. Probably deserves it. His team's always up there in terms of offensive production year in, year out. And then you had Kellen Moore second. You have Kellen Moore in front of McVay, in front of Kyle Shanahan, in front of Matt LaFleur. What are we doing? Jay, help me out here. What are we doing?
So let me preface this by saying I think that Kellen Moore actually had a very good year as a play caller. And this has little to do with Mike McCarthy trying to get in the way and ruining the Cowboys season, as he will eventually do. And they'll figure it out. This is his last year as the Cowboys coach. Once they flame out in the first round, they'll just move on from him and they'll get someone else. The issue is this. When the explanation came across from this person from PFF, well, it doesn't fit the model. It really shines a light on the fact that analytics alone cannot be the way that you evaluate either a play caller, team, or the game of football. PFF is a wonderful tool. Let me say that first. It's a wonderful tool, and it's a great way of evaluating players and understanding all those things. But it's one piece of tool in the tool bag. It is not the end-all, be-all. Let me explain to you real quick. The grading system that they use is largely subjective, meaning what happens is, because I did data collection for PFF, what happens is they send whatever it is that you send. So basically what a data collector does is he watches broadcast angle. That's not all 22, by the way, too, of college. Broadcast angle, and he labels each 11 players on both sides of the ball as they are. And on offense, it's much easier. You have your 5 offensive linemen, you have your quarterback, you have your running back, you have your wide receivers. That's very easy. On defense, one step to the right makes you an LEO. One step to the left makes you an OLB. And that's the stuff that is a little bit subjective when it comes to that, especially from broadcast angles. So what happens is after you collect all that data and you send it, they send it to the people that they start letting them grade. And it's between 5 people who grade what goes on for each player on each play. Once that's done, they take that and they aggregate it to a board of people who aggregate that score. I am not trying to talk down on PFF, but there's so many people that hold up PFF grades and what PFF said as end all be all. And at the end of the day, it's largely subjective, including our own opinions. So I'm not here to downplay PFF in any way. It's a valuable tool. It is something that you use in the tool bag in terms of evaluating. But at the same time, it cannot be the end all be all. One more thing I want to point out before I pass it to Steph. PFF is in bed with the NFL. In bed with the NFL. Okay? Sunday Night Football, when you watch, Chris Collinsworth is your guy. And when they introduce the starters on offense and defense, what's there at the bottom? PFF 5 out of 162. PFF 1 out of... So that's a little piece of the puzzle. The problem that I'm going to have, and I'm going to pass to Steph so she can continue, is the arrogance of the people who are making these models, which don't take into account watching the games, understanding the situations, because if the 49ers take their foot off the gas pedal in the third and fourth quarter because the game is largely out of hand, that knocks their EPA down, that knocks all this down, the game's over. So how does that negatively impact whatever score, whatever model it is, when situation of the game is not taken into account? Go for it, Steph.
All right. Well, I do want to piggyback on you saying that PFF is a great tool because it is for certain things. But when it comes to all these like different rankings that they have and their models, as you mentioned, they're telling on themselves. Like, you are showing everyone your model is not very good and they should feel embarrassed for putting some of this stuff out. I don't know how they look at this list and think, yeah, that's good, we're going to put that out. And I think you mentioned it, Leo. The issue here for me wasn't so much that Kyle Shanahan was ranked 4th. I mean, yeah, he's probably, you can make an argument for him being better than that, right? But the issue is Kellen Moore being number fucking 2, like that, or sorry, I don't know if we're supposed to swear here, sorry. But number 2, like, that's, how do you boot Kyle Shanahan for Kellen Moore? Like, I think that's the issue I have. That's probably the issue most people have. This is the same guy that called a QB draw with 13 seconds left in a playoff game. Like, just unserious behavior going on at PFF. And I think Kyle Shanahan is widely considered one of the top play callers in the league. And we have to remember he gets the accolade much of the time with Jimmy Garoppolo as his quarterback. So imagine what he can do with a better quarterback, a quarterback who has a higher ceiling, such as Trey Lance. And I do think that what plagues Kyle Shanahan, his reputation, would be that in his offense, in big moments, sometimes there's been a trend of it getting stagnant. There's no urgency. You know, they have a lead, but they're trying not to lose the game. And then sometimes that makes them lose the game, right? So we've seen that in a couple of big moments. And so I think it's fair to question. And it's kind of like the Steph Curry narrative, right? Like, there was this narrative that Curry never stepped up in big moments because he was never a finals MVP, things like that. And now that Curry has that finals MVP, shout out Steph, what will they say now, right? They have nothing to say now. So I think Kyle Shanahan, he'll find himself being questioned in that similar regard until he does win a Super Bowl. And, you know, we saw Andy Reid kind of go through similar adversity. And eventually he won one. I mean, it helps Andy Reid that he has Patrick Mahomes as his quarterback now. And so, of course, he gets that number one. But there are other aspects to it as well. And I do think he is deserving of that number one. And that can't really be argued with at this time. But I think Kyle Shanahan does have a bit more to prove. But Kellen Moore, get the hell out of here, man.
Sorry, I'm over here unmuting myself. Yeah, it's just that's the thing with me. With PFF, I don't care necessarily about grades. I look more at okay, how many pressures did this offensive lineman allow? How many pressures did this defensive lineman get? Like, what's his pressure to sack rate? What's his pressure to pass rushing snap rate? Like, I want to know those details. Same thing with corners. How many completions they give up in man coverage. And actually, PFF don't even get that right. Because we all know Emmanuel Mosley didn't allow a touchdown last season for the 49ers. Yet, if you look at his season review, PFF isn't having with the touchdown allowed. And so I talked, with someone over there, and I basically asked him, like, yo, when did this happen? Like, the guy has not allowed a touchdown all game or all season. When did it happen? And basically what it was is, oh, well, the receiver started on his side and he was lined up over the receiver. The receiver ran a drag route across the field while Emmanuel Mosley was in zone. It was no fault to Jimmy Ward. I love Jimmy Ward, but Jimmy Ward didn't pick him up in his zone. Touchdown was, happened. And PFF gave that to Emmanuel Mosley when it was actually Jimmy Ward misplayed his coverage. And it's literally, you see everybody drop back into their zone and Jimmy Ward's just like there. Like, I think he bit on the run, if I remember correctly. And they gave that touchdown to Emmanuel Mosley. So even with that rate, it's hard to trust what they put out there. But, like, look at this. It's just what's his name? Eric Eagler. Like, it's just one guy's opinion is how I look at it. Eric Eager. It's one guy's opinion. I come on this show. I drop my own opinions. The difference is my opinions aren't being posted from the verified PFF account. Because at the end of the day, whatever I say, it aligns with Eric Eager. He's no different than I am. His takes ain't better than mine. They're obviously not better than mine. Having Kellen Moore there. Like, Come on.
The thing is this. Go ahead, Leo.
And I was going to just say lastly, like, you want to put Kellen Moore in front of Kyle Shanahan? Fine. Like, I don't care if Kyle Shanahan's 4. Like, you could knock off Kellen Moore and put in Sean McVay. You can knock off Leftwich and put in LaFleur, and Kyle Shanahan's still 4. Like, that does not bother me. What's annoying is that Kellen Moore is getting this love when it was Kyle Shanahan's assistant that beat him for the Miami coaching job. And Miami was clearly looking for an offensive-minded coach. And they said, nah, I don't think you're right, Kellen Moore. And Kellen Moore had to actually drop out from getting hired there because he knew it wasn't going to happen. Save face.
Here's the thing, too. This is based on Eric's model. And I don't think so many people would have an issue with the way that he did this if he wasn't so arrogant with the way that he responded to the guy who flamed him for 2 straight days. Shout out to Akash of Niners Nation. Because Akash was giving you the context behind the discussion about how EPA would have gone up if you take away garbage time, about how much they had more drives than the 49ers did. And I want to piggyback a little bit on what Leo said about Emmanuel Mosley being charged with a touchdown. 2 years ago, in 2020, I did a little digging into some game film, and Jason Verrett was given 2 touchdowns allowed in the Green Bay Packers 2020 COVID game. And we all know how that went. Everybody was on COVID. Nobody played in that game. The 49ers had not much of a shot. It was the same exact answer I got that Leo got. Jason Verrett was lined up over Marquez Valdes-Scantling, fell into a zone, and the ball went over his head because Tarvarius Moore didn't play it correctly, and it went over his head for a touchdown. They gave it to Jason Verrett. And when I pushed back on the PFF people, they said, well, that's for fantasy football only because I used the shadow coverage metrics. But I said that's still wrong because if I was a guy who didn't care about real football and only cared about fantasy, I would look at that number and say, well, Jason Verrett's getting cooked. I'm going to play my guy against him because Jason Verrett's giving up touchdowns. There's a large group of those people that just use the numbers without the game. And to quote the great Rich Madrid, watch more tape. Watch more tape, man. Like, I don't understand how you can correlate that answer that you got because of your model without taking into context the fact that the 49ers beat the shit out of a few teams and didn't have to play down the stretch in some of those games. And the 49ers had less drives. And another thing, he cited points per game, which Leo has up on the screen here. Points per game is literally the worst way to judge an offense. You know why? Because it doesn't take out how many points the defense scored, how many points special teams scored. So this is, again, a big, big statement to the fact that analytics are one piece of the puzzle to understanding how football teams play. They're not the end-all, be-all. Again, your eyes and the game is probably your best way of evaluating things. Sorry. Please hire me, PFF, if you guys need somebody over on this side too. I'm not like down.
Yo, that's so wild. Like citing points per game. Like, let's talk about that as a team, not offensive, genius. Like, come on, that's has nothing to do with the offense. Fucking KP just hit the head on the nail there. It's like, oh, and let's not mention the quarterback play either. Yeah, like there's no significant upgrade with Dak compared to Jimmy.
No, Kellen Moore did all that, not Dak, or not the fact that CeeDee Lamb and Michael Gallup and Amari Cooper were some of his weapons. Like, Christ, man.
Yeah,
it's like really, if you look at it, Kyle Shanahan probably had the worst quarterback of all the offensive play callers that are on that list. So what does that say about Kyle Shanahan?
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah. Like I said, I am personally fine whether they put Kyle Shanahan 4, 1, 6, 3, I'm still going to wake up every day and have a cup of coffee. But what makes me want to have a cup of coffee and then a beer right after is when I see Kellen Moore's name listed on top offensive play callers in the league. Because you know what? Prove me wrong. At this point, Cowboys fans wanted Kellen Moore out after last season. So moving on. Next topic.
Wait, real quick, too. I just want to
ahead.
say, Kellen Moore did have a good year this year. He did have a good year this year. I'm not, like Kellen Moore won a game with Cooper Rush in Minnesota on prime time.
That's
like,
fair. Yep.
Kellen Moore had a very good year. That's not taking away from that. It's just, again, the methodology, the model, the way that you got to this answer is flawed. And I think that's more what we're arguing rather than it is whoever's opinion of whatever happened.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and jump topics here. Now we're going to get to the Trey Lance catching strays. Trey Lance catching strays. All right. This time it was Bleacher Report that went ahead and put this out. I'm going to share my screen here so you can see what was written. San Francisco 49ers quarterback, Trey Lance. This is as far as one disappointing player or one disappointing season for each team. What player that is. So basically, short story, Trey Lance has only started 3 games between his time from North Dakota State and San Francisco 49ers over the past 2 seasons. Obviously, that was 1 game at North Dakota State and 2 with the San Francisco 49ers. That's kind of shocked that they actually got that right. But here it comes here. Head coach Kyle Shanahan said he can see a scenario in which Jimmy Garoppolo remains on the 49ers through 2022. That's where you have me lost. Everybody and their mama that watches and follows the 49ers know Jimmy Garoppolo's not on this team next year. That's how I know you're not paying attention. That's where you lost me. But anyways, he said, even if Lance starts the campaign under center and the 49ers eventually trade Garoppolo, the young signal caller figures to go through some growing pains. That's fair. He also might not have to carry a heavy offensive workload with Shanahan's system, which leans heavily on the ground attack. San Francisco has ranked among the top 5 league-wide in rushing attempts in 2 of the last 3 seasons. Jason, Steph, other than throwing the ball like a missile, what does Trey Lance do well?
Processes the defense well, understands things.
Moves around the pocket.
Yeah, I mean, can actually make plays off schedule, and it doesn't need everything put there in front of him.
And his rushing ability.
Oh, yeah, we said legs. Yeah, like make things happen when the play breaks down.
Yeah, and we're gonna talk about Kyle Shanahan's heavy rushing workload. Trey Lance is not Jimmy Garoppolo, my guy. That benefits Trey Lance. Like, what's this guy's expectation for Trey Lance? To go have a last season Josh Allen? To have a first year Patrick Mahomes? Like, I don't think a 3,000, now that's pretty low, a 3,000 passing yard season with like 700 rushing yards is a disappointing year. That's 3,700 yards. Jimmy Garoppolo gets you 3,900. It's not like, what are you expecting like that? Where are you paralleling this for? Like, come on.
Right.
I'm tired.
No. So here's the thing. All right.
Tired.
I want to say this, and I want to make sure that I say it clearly so people don't misunderstand me in any way or just take any little thing that I say right here and just use it. This assumption that Trey Lance would be the most disappointing player on the 49ers isn't a bad one from this guy. And I'm going to tell you why. Because there's so many people that I've already seen on 49ers Twitter that have already said things that Trey Lance will do without knowing. This optimism, you can have your optimism. You can have your scouting reports. I'm optimistic. I think the guy's going to be fine. But for you to say, hey, Trey Lance is going to win 2 Super Bowls in his rookie contract, or he's going to throw for 4,800 yards when Josh Allen had the year of his life last year and threw for like 4,700. That's where your disappointment's going to come from. That's where you'll disappoint. When you look at the situation, when you look at not only can he run the ball, the fact that I expect the 49ers to run the ball just as much as they did with Jimmy Garoppolo, which, by the way, was to save Jimmy Garoppolo from throwing the ball more. I don't know who needed to hear that, but you're welcome. When the fact that you take into account that they're going to be running the ball just as much as they did with Jimmy Garoppolo, probably more when you consider the fact that Trey Lance is actually going to run the ball, he's in the better spot. So I don't necessarily have an issue with him being the player with the biggest chance to disappoint. Disappointment is going to come with what your, as a fan, expectations are. And we'll talk about it again. If you expect Trey Lance to automatically get this team right back to the game that they were just in this past year, you're setting yourself up for disappointment. If you expect Trey Lance to do more than what Josh Allen did in his best year, you're setting yourself up for disappointment. Adjust your expectations and be realistic. This is a kid who's only played 3 games, like I said in the beginning of this article. Adjust your expectations. Be realistic with yourself. Realize there'll be bumps and bruises, and realize that nobody is like Patrick Mahomes and comes out of the gate and sits for a year and throws for 50 tutties. If that happens, great. But you can't expect that because you know what? It's not typical. Go ahead, Steph.
All right, you took a lot of my points. Great minds think alike. But what I'm going to say is, I think it's annoying that there are all these people saying similar things about Trey Lance. He's going to be a disappointment. He's going to underperform. The team's going to keep Jimmy Garoppolo around because they don't trust Trey Lance. It's low-hanging fruit, and it's lazy, and it's baseless, pretty much. But I'm okay with saying that Trey Lance can potentially disappoint. And here's why. Because anything is possible. Terry Brooks in the comments said, I believe Trey Lance could have the potential to be our next Joe Montana.
Hold on.
Anyone could have the potential. Like, the possibilities are endless. Go ahead, Leo. You going to say something?
You just talked about low-hanging fruit, but you missed one right now.
What?
Anything is possible.
Someone needs to take that bottle from Clay.
It was an absolute menace.
Gary.
All right. So I think people writing these pieces on Trey Lance might be off the henny. They acting a little crazy. But, I mean, like I was saying, anything is possible with Trey Lance. We don't know what he's going to be. We have to be prepared for any outcome, okay? So do I think he'll be a disappointment? No. But different people have different expectations for Trey. So like you were saying, Jason, some people have been calling him the next Patrick Mahomes. So if Trey doesn't look like Patrick Mahomes in his first year as a starter, might those people be disappointed? Yeah, like probably. So yes, expectations disappointment is relative to people's expectations, right? So as long as our expectations are not crazy, then I don't think we'll be disappointed. And Eric Armstead said something on the Jim Rome podcast that I liked. Let me pull it up. Okay. He said about Trey Lance, I'm expecting great things from him. I'm excited to see what he's going to do, but he's not alone when he takes the field. Our team is very talented, and it's not just the Trey Lance show. He's surrounded by a lot of talented, great players, and we're all going to go out there and do what we can to help us win games. It's not just going to be on his shoulders. So I think that's something that people, forget quite often. Lance is going to have probably the highest margin of error of any of these second year, first year young quarterbacks. Is that fair to say? Like, he's going to have a pretty large margin of error just because this defense is so stacked. The whole roster is stacked that even if Trey Lance is a disappointment, this team could still be successful. So, people saying that he's potentially a disappointment, that's fine. Like, I just brushed that off. It doesn't really matter. Okay, maybe relative to your expectations and all that, but I don't think he'll be a disappointment based on my expectations for him.
Yeah, I I think what you said there, Steph, was perfect. The low hanging fruit is obvious. Like, this guy's obviously writing one for every team. Do you think he's going to put in much effort for all 32 teams?
Exactly.
Probably not.
It's a
So
fluff
when you
piece.
go to the 49ers, it's like low hanging fruit, Trey Lance, chalk it up.
Easy.
And why is it going to be low hanging fruit? Because they're a running team. Chalk it up. It's like, yeah, it's what do you expect? I personally don't expect Trey Lance to be the next Patrick Mahomes. I want Trey Lance to be the next Trey Lance, to be the first Trey Lance. That's what I want him to be. Everyone develops differently. You got babies that walk at 8 months and you're like, what the hell's going on here? You have babies that are walking at 15 months. Does that mean the baby that walked at 8 months is a better walker than the one that walked at 15 months? No, you just learn things differently. And I don't care what it takes for Trey Lance. I don't care if what I mean is, I don't care if it takes 1 year. I don't care if it takes 2 years, 3 years. I think this experience as a year one starter, it can't be a disappointment if he's actually on the field playing. It's a disappointment if he spends another year behind Jimmy Garoppolo, which he is not going to. I think that's been established. But him having a year of experience, that's, to me, my honest opinion, that's not a disappointment. What we had seen last year with Jimmy Garoppolo's injuries and still being out there, 10-point fourth quarter lead and can't really do anything about it. I'm sorry that I brought it up. I'm sorry. Look at Jay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I know you were there in person.
Steph was too.
Oh gosh. Well,
was.
changing subjects. But yeah, it's like, it's not a disappointment if he's out there on the field playing 17 games. When I look back at the 2020 season where Nick Mullins started a significant amount of games, Kyle Shanahan had him on pace for 4,500 yards passing. Now, I don't expect that to be parallel to Trey Lance, because Nick Mullins was out there throwing like 36 times a game. Trey Lance is going to have games where he throws maybe 18, maybe 23, not that 36 amount, but he's going to take the deep shots. Trey Lance is going to do that, and sometimes, not every time, sometimes he's going to complete it. Hell, CJ Beathard completed a deep pass to Marquise Goodwin for a touchdown, which was a significant touchdown that I think is going to last with all of us against the New York Giants. So I don't think it's a disappointment with Trey Lance playing. It's just low-hanging fruit if you're having to cover all 32 teams. It's an article that just gets me to talk about it, and then I forget about it. So shifting gears like Trey Lance does in the open field.
Wait, do we have a donation? Do we have something that we need to cover real quick?
You're right. You're right. I apologize. I am slacking. Don't slack me. 49ers throwback. Hey, Jason, Leo, and Steph, will you guys be in training camp? Trey Lance is going to open the offense, and he's at tight end with Kittle
tight end university.
Josh Allen.
So Josh Allen's throwing footballs to everybody at tight end university right now.
Yep. And Trey Lance is out there with them.
Yep.
Let me ask you this then. What question could Trey Lance ask Josh Allen? Like, what piece of advice do you think he'll ask Josh Allen?
Josh Allen is a good reminder that not everybody is on the same cookie cutter time. Not everybody just gets into the league and dominates like Justin Herbert. Some guys take 1 or 2 years. What if the Buffalo Bills, after a year, said, hey, we're done with Josh Allen, man. I don't know about this kid, and we need to move on, and not are able to move forward with a team that is largely considered an AFC Super Bowl contender, right? Like they could make the Super Bowl, right? Like Josh Allen played an immaculate game against the Kansas City Chiefs. His defense let him down at the end. He outplayed Patrick Mahomes spades over. And I will look Patrick Mahomes' mama in the face and tell him, yo, your son got outplayed by Josh Allen. That man was incredible. But what if the Buffalo Bills said, I don't want to wait that long, right? And I think a lot of this quarterback anxiety that many people have has to do with the way that quarterbacks are evaluated now at this point. In terms of Josh Rosen was picked by the Arizona Cardinals, largely regarded as their new franchise quarterback. Well, you know what? You fire the coach and then you bring in Cliff Kingsbury, and Cliff Kingsbury doesn't care about the decision you made before. I get the first pick. I want Kyler Murray. And that's kind of changed the way that everybody is evaluating quarterbacks. If you go back to the days where you have to sit for a year behind a veteran and you have to hold the clipboard to learn how to play football, that's not how things are going right now. So that's why if it feels like guys are on a faster timetable, it's because things have gone different ways now. Justin Herbert comes into the league, dominates. Joe Burrow comes into the league, dominates, right? Like, but not everybody's the same. Not everybody evolves the same way. So what if the Bills said with Josh Allen, yeah, we're good after a year, and they kicked him aside? And you know what? That might have derailed his career because it kills his confidence. Teams sit him as a second quarterback. They don't want to see. They stuck with it, and now they're getting the fruits of their labor. So I guess what Josh Allen should be asked by Trey Lance is, how do you stay patient? How do you stay working? How do you not let it all get to you? That's the problem. So I think that's probably the question he'd ask.
Let's see. Steph?
If I was Trey Lance and I was talking to Josh Allen, I would ask him, what is one thing that you wished you had learned sooner? Because maybe there is an opportunity for Trey Lance to not take as long to come along as Josh Allen, right? So I would just pick his brain on that a little bit. Sorry if you guys hear the grass cutting happening outside. I don't know if you can.
I thought that was me. I mean, I apparently someone decided to do some laundry while I was about to do a show, so I thought it was just me. You're good. I don't even hear anything, Steph.
All right, cool.
Josh Allen's in the show. Trey had to hit dingers. You know what? That's cool and all, but there's already going to be one player to come to the Bay Area that hits dingers, but that's going to be next year in Aaron Judge.
All right. So before we bypass that bullshit that was just said,
Problem.
Yeah, huge problem. He's not signing
problem?
with the team that's never going to win a championship again in a long time.
Problem.
One thing that I see in the comments is we don't have a Brian Dabble. Brian Dabble gets way too much credit for Josh Allen's development. Josh Allen's development has to do with his quarterback coach and things that happen outside. Brian Dabble has largely, if you've watched the Bills, in certain spots when they blow games, impeded Josh Allen in certain spots. But the reputation is Brian Dabble is the reason that Josh Allen, that's wrong. That's absolutely wrong. And I would argue the 49ers have a coach that's better to put quarterbacks in a better spot than Brian Dabble. His name is Kyle Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan made you, someone who's watching this, believe that Nick Mullins was a better starter than Jimmy Garoppolo. Kyle Shanahan turned Matt Ryan into an MVP. Kyle Shanahan made Jimmy Garoppolo fetch whatever it is that they think that they're going to fetch. So please do not tell me that Brian Dabble is going to be better for Josh Allen than Kyle Shanahan would be with Trey Lance. That's wrong. It's revisionist history. It's a little bit lazy. And that's really where I'm at with it. Kyle Shanahan is the guy that you really want with the quarterback, not Brian Dabble. Brian Dabble is living off a reputation that is largely unearned. And the Giants are giving him a shot to try to do that with Daniel Jones. But once Daniel Jones doesn't do it, they're just going to let him walk. So, Brian Dabble is not all that. And I would implore you, as Rich Madrid says, watch more tape. Please, guys. Please.
I'll say this. It's we talked about Shanahan quite a bit. We talked about Trey Lance quite a bit. Jay, you're big into Spider-Man. Huge, right? Look at that. Can you do a web for us? Woo! Woo! And there we go. That's what I'm stonks up. Let's talk about
I'm cropping that part of the video. I'm gonna just take that snippet. It's becoming a meme. Thank you.
You're muted.
No, I'm tired of being a meme and I'm tired of being muted.
The reason why I bring up Spider-Man is because I want to talk about a alternate universe. And Brad Graham, the SF Niners, brought up a great, scenario.
I'm sorry. Before you get to that, Spider-Man, no man.
Spider-Man, no man. So Brad Graham, the SF Niners, our boy, he brought up a great scenario when he said, could you imagine a world where the 49ers traded for Sam Darnold and not Trey Lance? Because remember, before the draft that year, there was those sprinkles, there was those whispers about Sam Darnold coming to the 49ers. And I can't help but to believe there was no way they were going to roster this quarterback room with Jimmy Garoppolo, Sam Darnold, and Trey Lance. So, in this alternate reality in the multiverse, what would we be talking about today if the 49ers traded for Sam Darnold and he was paired with Jimmy Garoppolo, costing the team about $45 million at the quarterback position?
Steph, you go first.
He said, "No, man. No,
he looks
man.
tired. He's tired. He's sick of it." I think we'd be talking about a quarterback from this 2022 draft class that we would have probably had to just drafted, just like the Panthers are right now. I just can't believe that there was a point in time when all of that was going down that off season that like I was ready to convince myself that that would have been a good move just because like I was so over like Jimmy Garoppolo, and I know that more of you agree even if you don't admit it.
There was. I'll tell you this. I had Javi in my ear saying, look at this play from Sam Darnold, like he could do certain things. I'm just like, Javi, he sucks. I'm like, no, I don't want him. No. It's like when I say, Mom, I want this toy. And then Christmas comes around. She goes, it's not the one I wanted, but she goes, it's like the one you wanted. No, that's not the one I wanted. And that's basically what Sam Darnold would have been. Jay, go ahead. I saw you went from, all right, time to get serious.
So it would be revisionist history of myself and many 49er fans to say that they weren't at least intrigued at the prospect of it. And don't get it twisted. Kyle Shanahan loved Sam Darnold. He did. That's not something that like I'm making up. He had very high grades on him, and I'm sure that they actually checked it. And I think that a lot of what people were intrigued about with Sam Darnold was the talent's there, right? The throwing talent is there, but then he was there with Adam Gase. And some people cannot escape Adam Gase. And what many people correlated to what Sam Darnold could be was what Ryan Tannehill did when he got away. It's like as soon as you get away from Gase, you're great. And a lot of people were willing to take a chance on that unknown that is that talent that Sam Darnold had by throwing it at the feet of Adam Gase. I will be honest with you. I didn't know if Sam Darnold would be anything if he ended up with the 49ers. But I was willing to take a chance if it was going to be that over Jimmy Garoppolo at that point, especially when you pair him with Kyle Shanahan and the talent. Because Sam Darnold, if you watch his Jets tape, and any of you guys who are subscribed to Game Pass, you're welcome to go look. Sure, there's some throws that you're like, what in God's name are you looking at? But then there's some throws that you're like, holy shit, man. That was something that not many people can do. So you kind of hope, hey, he's young. I think he's still, 24, 25 right now at this point, right? You're thinking 24, 25-year-old, Kyle Shanahan, running game, those type of throws. It's not the craziest thing to have, I don't want to say push for it, but at least accepted it, right? And said you understood the vision, right? Because when you watch the Jets tape, again, there's throws on there that you're just like, dude, what is wrong with you? But then there's throws that you're like, holy shit, man, I can't believe he made that throw. There's too many of the bad throws to outweigh the good throws, but you kind of had to hope that leveled out. You're taking a chance on a guy who was highly regarded. Kyle loved him. That's not my opinion. Kyle loved him. Kyle wanted him, in terms of his skill set. But yes, thank God they didn't make this throw. Thank God. This throw. They didn't make this trade. Thank God. Thank God. I will take my shot right now with Trey Lance and not knowing what we have going forward than I will with Sam Darnold, who, again, all right, and another thing, too. Sam Darnold's not in the best situation in Carolina either, man. Matt Rule isn't a good coach. They fired the offensive coordinator halfway through. It got so bad that they played 4 quarterbacks last year. It's, again, does some of that have to do with Sam Darnold? For sure. But Sam Darnold hasn't exactly jumped into the model situations. The Jets are a dumpster fire. That's why so many people should be talking about Zach Wilson in the same way that they're talking about Trey Lance in terms of, I don't know what you're going to get. But at the same time, let's not discount the fact that Sam Darnold had to mess with Adam Gase for 3 years and then go over to Carolina with Matt Rule. The Panthers stink. They're largely run with a bad team, like right now. Like Ben McAdoo is their offensive coordinator this year, and Matt Rule is scrambling to figure out which quarterback will help him save his job when he's basically a lame duck coach. So look, do I think Sam Darnold's it? No. But Sam Darnold's situation, and much has to do with the fact that his situation has been bad his entire career, doesn't help. And that doesn't mean that you can always overcome those circumstances certain quarterbacks can. Clearly, Sam Darnold can't. So I don't even know if I just made the case, but I'm glad he didn't trade for Sam Darnold.
Let me ask you this. Both of you can answer. Do the 49ers make the NFC title game with Sam Darnold instead of Jimmy Garoppolo last year?
Absolutely not. And anybody who believes that Sam Darnold is better than Jimmy Garoppolo, I think you need your head checked. So the funniest part is when we were at the Senior Bowl, I'm sitting there. It's me, Javi, it's Croc, and it's my boy Faraz, and we're having dinner at a place. And there's a guy over our shoulder that's talking about, yeah, man, I would take Sam over Jimmy. Croc, from across the table was like, you do what? He's like, look, bro. He's like, I respect your opinion. He's like, Jimmy's way better than Sam Darnold. He goes, and I'm not willing to hear any arguments on this. So no matter how much we're down on Jimmy Garoppolo, just know rational minds understand that Jimmy Garoppolo is better than Sam Darnold. And that's not really up for debate at this point.
No, I don't think it's a hot take at all. I think it's facts. There's a reason why the Panthers' name has been lingering with Jimmy Garoppolo over the past few months. It's because he's an upgrade over Sam Darnold. He clearly is. And I don't even think if this team had done that trade, got Sam Darnold, I don't think they make the playoffs. Now, did Jimmy get carried by his team quite a bit? Yeah, we've all acknowledged that. But is Sam Darnold able to do what Jimmy does? No, he does not. Neither did Nick Mullins. Neither did CJ Beathard. That's why this team lost when Jimmy Garoppolo was not available. So I rest my case there. Lastly, we wanted to close this out. We're about 48 minutes here. We wanted to close it out with Steph. Your team won the NBA Finals. We discussed that earlier. They had a parade on Market Street. Looked fun. It looked fun.
I want that. Fun. I want to experience that.
Yes. So, my question is, when do you think the 49ers get their parade on Market Street? I'm assuming it's on Market Street because you're not going to do it in Santa Clara.
No, man. They're going to have it in Santana Row or Great America.
Oh, God. Santana
do it in Santana,
Row. She did
do
not.
It in Santana
she
Row,
just
and
did
then
not.
No, do it in Santana Row, and when it passes the Yard House, just catch me in the Yard House eating mad shrimp tacos, wilding out. That's how I'm gonna celebrate.
Yeah, I'm assuming they're still San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah, no.
So I'm assuming it's gonna be Market Street.
They'll for sure have it in Market Street when that time comes. I think within the next 5 years is in the realm of possibility, to at least get one. This team has been to the Super Bowl before. Of course, there are new faces, but this is largely still a playoff NFC championship pedigree team. And I really do think it's just a matter of taking that further step, and what we knew as fans, and I think the team knew too eventually, was that Jimmy Garoppolo was not going to be the quarterback that would take you to that promised land. And so I think the difference between Garoppolo and Trey Lance gives them that step. Trey Lance has a higher ceiling, and not to mention the other areas that they've improved in. So I say within the next 5 years, I hope, Leo, I pray, I have candles lit up, I have a shrine somewhere. I'm trying to manifest this next 5 years.
Oh, well, maybe I'm off the goose, which I'm not drinking right now at this point. Give it to me in 3 years. Give it to me in 3 years. And I think that while you have this premium talent that you have, the 49ers are very top heavy. And Trey Lance, all he has to do is play at Jimmy Garoppolo's level in terms of production. He doesn't need to do anything. If he gives a little extra, now you're talking. Mm-hmm. Now you're talking, right? You made a Super Bowl with Jimmy Garoppolo. You made an NFC championship with Jimmy Garoppolo on a broken thumb and him giving you as many touchdowns, or one more touchdown than you, Leo, me, and Steph, we all combined for, and we didn't play in any games. And that defense is going to be largely the same. And there is a world where this defense actually improves this year. So give it to me in 3 years. Give it to me in 3 years. I won't say immediately, but if this year you see the signs and you see the encouragement moving forward, like Russell Wilson, and I hate the sorry guys, sorry. Russell Wilson pulled up and they made, the divisional round and the Falcons beat them. But everybody kind of knew after that game, oh shit, they're here to stay. You're going to have to see them more and more. If the 49ers pull off something similar with like that Russell Wilson and the Seahawks did, because they had such a great defense and Russ was a game manager, and then the next year, what did they do? They broke the door down. That seems like something that isn't as far-fetched as you would believe. So
anything is possible.
For sure. If I am talking about Clay was wild, and he dropped what? He knocked over a lady. He dropped his championship ring. Oh my goodness. Hey, Clay might be a good deep safety if he wanted to mess around and stop playing football, stop playing basketball. But if you're gonna give it to me in any time, give it to me while Trey is still under a rookie contract like Russell Wilson was, and you're able to get that $25 million off the books somehow. Let the cap go up a little bit. How do you do that? I don't know. Let the cap go up a little bit, and you bring in some impact, premium, low-level veteran guys. Here you are again. So give it to me in 3 years, maybe 2. You know what? 2. Not this year. Next year, the 49ers are gonna have their parade. Yeah, let's go. Cut that and keep it.
Damn it, Jay. I got 2 years. I think this team wins the Super Bowl in 2000. What would it be? The 2023 season? The Super Bowl will be in 2024, but the 2023 season. I think this team does it. Like you said, I'm not here expecting Trey Lance to go out and be Mahomes, Josh Allen, even Lamar Jackson or Kyler Murray. But if he's a version of Jimmy Garoppolo, what have we seen in 2 dominant seasons that he's been under center? NFC Championship game, NFC Championship game. 1 Super Bowl appearance. All right, cool. I'm going to take my chances with Trey Lance. I'm going to take my chances with this roster because it's not just Trey Lance. Because, hell, if it was just Jimmy Garoppolo, this team wouldn't have made those 2 NFC Championship games. So it's not just number 5. Debo's going to be here within those 2 years. Prime Debo, prime Kittle, prime Trent Williams, prime Ayuk, because next year would be the last year of his deal. So he's under contract. I would expect Jimmy Ward to still be here. Eric Armstead, Nick Bosa, Fred Warner, maybe Aziz. Depends what happens with contracts. Maybe Emmanuel Mosley. Depends what happens with contracts. Charvarius Ward will be here. Talanoa Hufanga will be here. You see all the names I'm just throwing out there. The squad's loaded. They got the talent to make another run. And like you said, the big part of it is the rookie deal. So that's why I say if it happens this year, cool. Like I will gladly be wrong, but I'm not going to go get a tattoo, but I'm going to predict they win it in 2023. I think that's when they're going to have their parade. That's when they're going to be on Market Street. And then I'm going to have to go crazy in the Mission like my parents did back in the day when they won the Super Bowl. So
Well,
go ahead.
one good thing that we could say that the Warriors have done is it's kind of lit a fire under the 49ers, for sure, right? Like
Absolutely.
you've seen Eric Armstead talking about, hey, I want that. And who doesn't want that? But they
Absolutely.
smoked that Boston Pack. Oh, my God. Thank you so much. The Boston Red Sox are 13 and a half games behind the best team in baseball. The Boston Celtics got smoked, packed up, had to watch a trophy in their building. The New England Patriots are skating by with the fact that Tom Brady was their quarterback and Bill Belichick is not the general manager that everybody believes he is. Still the best coach in the world, but they're still not going to win any Super Bowl anytime soon. So, yes, I am.
Hey.
Thank you, Warriors.
An F Barstool.
Oh, and Dave Portnoy
Yeah,
is
that
still
dude
banned from
sucks.
NFL. Is still banned from NFL games, which I don't know why you're asking Roger Goodell that at Congress. Can we get Roger Goodell out of Congress and can we fix why gas is so high and inflation is so high? I don't care. Just kick Dan Snyder out and stop asking him questions about Dave Portnoy. I don't understand. Sorry.
Yeah.
Hey, but what a Mac Jones Trey Lance Super Bowl would be legendary for like
Hey, I'm here
several
for it.
reasons. That would be
I'm here for it.
one, to smoke the Boston Pack because we love to do that. Two, officially kill that narrative of the 49ers wanted Mac Jones and all this shit.
Mhm.
That's it. That's two. That's it.
Don't let my ignorant East Coast ass pull up for a 49ers parade, man. I'm getting arrested and everything. Y'all gonna catch me on TMZ. I'm gonna be wilding out, man. I have had an adult championship with the Yankees. That's fine. I need my adult 49ers championship, and I'm gonna be
Facts.
ridiculous. Like I'm just gonna be there, passed out on the floor with confetti all over me. Like I don't even know what's gonna happen, and that's the good part about it. Jesus.
But
Facts.
you were old enough to see like the other Super Bowls, right?
Yeah. 94, I was old enough. I watched it in a bar, even though I was 10 years old. I'm not that old, guys. Please, Jesus Christ.
That's
But
pretty old.
yeah,
Very-
still. But I, again, on the East Coast, there's no 49er parade. Like the 49ers won. I went to school and I was like, haha, 49ers won. They were like, nobody cares. And everybody just turned their back on me. I was like, ah, damn it. Like, I was like, what the hell am I supposed to do here? Like, the Giants weren't good. The Jets were never good. They were never in the way. But yeah, like I need my 49ers championship. And to have it taken away 2 times, 3 times now, 4 times if you want to count the Seahawks NFC championship. I just please, guys, just one. And I think that should like show you guys how hard it is to win a championship. You can still be the best team.
5 times if you want to count the Giants NFC championship.
Jesus Christ.
See, that's all I know, guys. Like, I was 3 years old in 94. All I know is pain.
I was 1.
So if you're wondering why my prediction was in the next 5 years, it's because I have low expectations because I'm just so used to getting my feelings hurt by this team. I need it.
And I see someone asking, Dusty Gold asked if I'm a Ranger fan. I'm actually a Devils fan, and they win way more than the Rangers do. The Rangers won in '94. The Devils were like had a run. We were out here wilding in New Jersey, man.
Oh,
I touched
wow.
the Stanley Cup and everything.
The Blazers made a trade. They got Jeremy Grant from Detroit.
All right, it's time to wrap it up. Nobody cares. Basketball.
I'm just saying, like, are they trying
I
to
was about
keep
to say, I
Dame
don't
Lillard
care.
now? Are they trying to keep Dame?
No,
I don't
who
think
cares,
so.
man?
I mean, they got a big. We'll see.
Don't care.
Hey, man, come on. She's like, I don't care.
Don't care.
Season's over.
We're
Warriors.
still
Wrap
riding
it up.
high
Let's-
off the
let's-
Warriors championship. Come on now.
Let's promote everything and let's wrap it up. I think we're good here with an hour.
Hey,
Yeah.
if you guys haven't subscribed, liked, like, what the hell are you doing at this point? Subscribe, like, but more importantly, hit that notification bell because that's how you know we are live. You could join the chat. You could have those ignorant Rams fans in the chat. I'm talking about you, Marketing Pro, who I had to block during the conversation because you were just out of pocket. Well, I put him in timeout. I put him in timeout for
I was
5
wondering
minutes.
how you did that. I was like,
I like Marketing Pro, man. He's cool, man. I like
But
his.
he's annoying. He's annoying me. If he's annoying me, he's annoying our people.
It's embarrassing. It's
You know,
annoying to me and my homegirl because damn, we feel like if we can't go to the YouTube channel, where the hell could you go?
Hey, you know why I put him on timeout though?
that's
Is because
perfect.
he said that there was hella Rams fans in Santana Row. I was like, all right, like you out of pocket now. I'm putting you in timeout. Like once you hit that, I'm like, you so out of pocket. You deserve a timeout. Like you gotta chill the hell out.
I like him, man. You know what? He's clearly trying to elicit a response from you one way or another. And whether you do it on camera or you do it the blocking, he got his job done. So the best thing is, and this is advice for many people on 49ers Twitter, I think you guys know what I'm talking about. If they are trying to elicit a response from you, what do? Let them starve. Let them be. Leave them alone. Do not acknowledge them. Let them sit in silence. What would we do? I'm not a Knicks fan. So, and
he's on the Nets.
I don't care. I'm not a Nets fan. Nobody's Nets fans. I've lived in Jersey for a large portion of my life. There are no Nets fans. None at all. None. There's no Nets fans. There's 3 of them, and they didn't even go to Brooklyn. They were just like, you know what? That's too far away. Like, no, come on.
Yeah, it is what it is. But like I said, hit that bell. Subscribe to Jason's channel. Subscribe to my channel. It's just Leo Luna. I'm probably in the recommendation if you're on his channel. Subscribe to Steph's channel. She's probably in the recommendations if you're on one of our channels as well. 49K Pod. And let's do the damn thing. Come on, Niners. Let's do the damn thing. I want a parade. I want to pop a bottle when they win a damn Super Bowl, man. Let's do it. Let's do it. Go Niners.